Learn the true secret origin of Bao the Clownhunter and how his war on the Joker and his ilk began in the pages of Batman Annual issue number 5. Let's hop on in together and find out what happens next, shall we? So then, as the comic opens up, we're in Park Row, once a thriving entertainment district for the rich and powerful that fell on legendary hard times when a wealthy couple was shot dead in an alley they later renamed Crime Alley. You may have heard about this once or twice. This place also just so happens to be home to Leslie Tompkins' Free Clinic, one of the last social safety nets in a city long ago forgotten by the powers that be. Unfortunately, this doesn't stop Leslie from getting mugged every so often herself. You know, this is normally the part of the video where I complain about DC artists not being able to agree on what Leslie Tompkins looks like anymore, but for once it seems like the Tynion adjacent Bat books have actually gone out of their way to try and figure it out, which, you know, good for them. Even if you might not realize it because this story is going for an exaggerated Tank Girl-esque art style from Stokoe. Leslie is saved from a possible shanking by the best new character of 2020. Yes, I know it's calling it very close, but let me introduce you to Big Henry, everybody, a skyscraper of a homeless man who speaks in first person and who's really made some great progress with his anger issues. Now he only threatens to break people's bones instead of actually doing it. When Leslie actually does make it to her office, she's shocked to discover she has an unexpected guest tonight, the Clownhunter, whose arm needs stitches, no doubt because of more post-clown hunting related violence. While Leslie patches Bao up, she decides that now would be a good time to psychoanalyze the kid. Batman had mentioned that he may be coming in one day, but she didn't expect to see him so soon. And with that, we are treated to a flashback of the origins of Clownhunter. Granted, much of this story was already told in the pages of Tynion's Batman book, but I digress. It seems that before becoming a vigilante, Bao was prone to living in a world of fantasy, video games mostly, where there were rules, people kept score, and things actually seemed like they mattered. One night, his family's Vietnamese restaurant was taken over by the Joker and Harley post a big diamond robbery. Bao wanted to act right away, but his father told him to stand down, give the villains what they want, and hope they'll leave in their own time. That's a sensible advice, but unfortunately Joker has never been sensible in his entire life. After the clown prince of crime eats, he ends up gassing everyone to death anyway. Also, look at those gross, sick grins. That is why you do an annual in this art style, for panels just like this. Bao narrowly survived, and Batman vowed to bring the clowns to justice. He did that time, and the time after that, and the time after, and so on and so forth. Every time the Joker broke out of Arkham and caused more mayhem, Bao found himself losing more and more faith, not just in Batman, but in Gotham City as a whole. All of this would end up coming to a major head during the first nights of the Joker War. Clowns rampaged across the city, empowered like never before, killing as they saw fit. One of those people was Bao's neighbor, a nice old lady who got set on fire just because she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, the cops and politicians never cared much for the Narrows even before the Joker paid them all off with the Wayne's money, and with no Batman in sight, Bao vowed to take his neighborhood back by building a costume and recycling his prized batarang into a weapon of death. It worked, and the Clownhunter actually became something of a celebrity to his community, but now Bao doesn't know what to think. He was gonna kill Harley at the end of the last Batman issue, but he decided against it. If she could change, is it now Bao who's the true clown? Leslie says the problem with violent retribution is that while it may feel good in the moment, it doesn't last long, and the world is ultimately no better for it. Clownhunter can kill as many clowns as he likes, but tomorrow there will be more to take their place. Same with Batman. Despite Bao being incensed by the patterns that the Dark Knight plays out over and over again, he too ended up falling into the same trap without even knowing it. Perhaps instead Leslie thinks that instead of just beating people up, that these two, like Bruce and like Bao, should put their heads together and use their minds to maybe address the root causes of crime and criminality in Gotham. Bao is admittedly actually taken a little aback by these comments. He assumed that Leslie would be Batman's biggest cheerleader, but she seems to have as many problems with his methods as he does with Batman. And perhaps there is some real greater lesson in all of that. Leslie disagrees with Batman, but she's still his friend and ally. side. Maybe Bao isn't nearly alone as he thought he was, and that maybe he can continue to fight for real change in Gotham, do better himself, not repeat Batman's mistakes all at the same time. In fact, as the comic comes to a close, he makes his first real step towards personal growth and improvement by unmasking and revealing himself to Leslie. And so that was Batman Annual number 5, everybody, and while I still don't think we exactly needed a whole origin story for Clownhunter, mainly because Tynion did an excellent job weaving his story throughout his ongoing Batman run, it's nice for posterity's sake to know that this story is here and exists. I know whenever a new young hero is introduced into the Batman mythos, people start an internal countdown to whether or not that character will become the next Robin, but here I think Tynion makes a pretty solid case about Clownhunter not needing to be Robin because, well, he's already Clownhunter and that's good enough. I also get the feeling that this story is planting a lot of seeds, too, for stuff we're probably going to see later with Clownhunter and Leslie in that new upcoming Joker book from Tynion, as Leslie is already a pretty big player over there with everything that's happening with Punchline. I will take my hat off for all the characterization that Bao does get in this issue. He's a lost soul crying out at the unfairness of the world and the failing of his beloved heroes. It's a pretty common feeling amongst young comic readers, no doubt, and one that Tynion really manages to tap into here. But it's not all doom and gloom because this is a Batman story. It's ultimately about positive aspirations. Someone like Leslie to be in your life to say that even though you're mad, that doesn't mean you have to lose yourself, but you can use that anger to propel yourself to do bigger and better things. Overall, I'd feel comfortable giving this one a 7.5 out of 10, and I'm definitely interested to follow the Clownhunter as he continues to develop here in DC Comics.
Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps drive engagement and helps me out too. Also, if you are a patron, which you can become for as little as $1 a month, you will get exclusive content that no one else can ever see, and you'll get to see the Comic Multiverse podcast before anyone else too. You can check out all this and more down in the description. And until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.